welcome to my video. I'm Jennifer Roberts and this is True Divine. Much love to all my family. You know you all are. And this is some tarot. Let's get back to some tarot. You know, there's been a bit of an absence of it. And to be honest, I think that might be good in that it gives you a bit of a recharge, because a lot of what I've been putting out, I'm seeing coming into manifestation. Big time, unfortunately, for the most part, but in the bigger picture, I think fortunately, but you know, it's had an impact. So let's do from the 28th of the 12th, no, 29th of the 12th, 2021 to about the 2nd of January 2022, which enters into the, what is it? 8th realm, isn't it? Whether you choose to be infinite or not, or infinite in the form that you are accustomed to or not, I suppose. So what about the 29th of December 2021? About put out a short video today. Been foraging into the Dean, and it was pretty torrential weather the last few days. So it was so muddy. It was so muddy. 1 second. Yoga, anyone? Stretch. So yeah, it was really muddy, but so so beautiful. Such a powerful place. A lot of Hadrian's wall is there, the Roman wall, the remnants of, and you feel the stone sort of goes underneath the ground so far down, but you're in the Dean, so you're so far down, and you can really feel it, feel the energy from it and what it's absorbed over the years. So yeah, 29th, give me the 29th without flying everywhere. 5 of Wands, wouldn't you know? 5 of Wands. So 5 of Wands, we're talking about this endless conflict, this so deliberate, so obvious tool of those that are desperate to stay in power, having the people, the others, in conflict that nobody can win, just endless conflict back and forth, division, taking a side, being very fixed in your opinions, so you come across other people who are very fixed in their opinions, and it's all a distraction. It's all a distraction, because if they didn't have those people pitched against the post at each other, then they wouldn't have the means to carry out the narrative that they're carrying out right now. It is because there is this hypnotism on any side that you're on, to keep you in this endless 5 of Wands conflict, back and forth, no winner, just and actually pointless in energy at this point. Pointless in energy, in that, you know, it is only going to serve to your detriment one way or the other, as to what timeline then you are getting ready to really manifest into and really align to and stick to, in a very potent, in a very meaningful way, in that it really is time to shed that kind of division and that kind of distraction. because it really is crunch time as to this separation of timelines within a dimension. Such drastic separations also. Now we've got the 7 of Swords as the next card, and so this is where your rights, your not just rights, this goes deeper, your manifestation of your reality, and also the amount of knowledge and wisdom you manage to transition from this place with, in order to have more of a determination in your next life, or in whatever other dimension you decide to transition into. The word decide very much having a big impact, in that you are aligning with a path right now, and they're very definite and drastic and different paths. And so it's that is being stolen from you at a greater level, but on the ground also, you know, it's a loss of a chance, a loss of a good chance of manifesting the reality that if you weren't in such a hypnotism with this endless division and conflict, you would see and appreciate more. We've got the 10 of Pentacles as the next card, and so this speaks of there's a fight over the territory, there's a fight over the land, and it's being taken from under you. And it's been taken from under you because of this distraction. Now that will resonate in a more micro way, or not so micro for those feeling it, in your personal lives, in that this is very much all for the winning. This is very much all for the positive, if you choose to take these actions to end these endless conflicts with this 5 of Wands, pointless conflicts back and forth, bickering, but also with yourself, ending this bickering, this division within yourself, you know, fully getting into a space where you're willing to not have any of these swords, these transitions, these different levels that we seem to be either attaining or not attaining right now, depending upon how divided we are, how diluted we are, how imbalanced we are. So these 7 levels, something about that, the 7 levels that are being opened up right now. And they can only be opened up individually by yourself. And it feels almost like it's such a game, because those that are not in division with themselves or with others are manifesting a 10 of Pentacles, to have your own land, to have your own sustenance, to have your own physical divinity and sovereignty in this physical space. But it's a balance, isn't it? Because our manifestation, for those that resonate with that side of things, our manifestation has to be quadruply strong, because we haven't got that, although it's an individual manifestation, timelines within timelines, personal timelines, as in a timeline of that layer of timeline and dimensions, sandwiching all of these different paths. And we haven't got many in the timeline that I know I'm resonating with. We haven't got the numbers. And this is why the distractions are going to get really ridiculous today. Laughable to many, i.e. us, laughable to many, but you know, deep hypnotizing divisional tools being sown today to make this 7 of Swords. They're allowing their territory, their bodies, their minds, their physical businesses, their physical homes, physical jobs to be taken from under them by doing the very bidding with this Five of Wands of those that want to own their territory. And there's death on the bottom of the deck, wouldn't you know? Major Arcana, this would speak to physical death for me, but also this death that those who followed me know I've talked about one way or the other many times, in this death of a DNA line. Your DNA line up to this point, as manipulated as I feel it is, for good and bad. It's been manipulated many times and added to many times, but as we know it, as we know these physical bodies, and the anchoring in that we can have within these physical bodies spiritually, because our DNA is strong, therefore it's like a rope, it's like a tether, from the physical to the spiritual, and for those that really work at it, the soul, or those that just came in as an ancient one, the soul, that DNA being changed, that territory being changed. And so a death to that, in that, you could see even the fact that I've been noticing the living dead, some of those that are animated, as in their body is animated and functional, but there is something disconnected. There is something changed that is now foreign to me. Now that's just with a few that I've noticed, but it's potent when I notice it, and that is giving over of the most beautiful territory that there is, your body. This physical magical being in of itself, this genius design, being disconnected from the very things that anchor it, animate it, and work in conjunction with it. So this is where you see people being that go into that category, being very easy to go into fire, into throwing arrows, conflict. They're very easy to be manipulated into being distracted and divided. It speaks to, what I feel is the back of the Christmas ritual that Boris did, which was so dark to do that at Christmas. The propaganda was real. And he said he would open up out of the love of his heart, for Christmas Day, and gave this pathetic speech how it would be the best Christmas gift ever. We're going to start to see the ramifications of that, because again, like I called these for I could feel it. It was this different strain. It was this different, more potent, or just knowing that they would add to strain. And we're going to start to see the physical ramifications of that. It would be great if people could just ask those simple equations of when this happens, that this has happened after, and the people without are fine. So there's going to be that too. But then those that are still divided in one way or the other, and I'm searching for that every day within myself and trying to balance out and get into the middle ground every day, because we are divided, and it's a maintaining thing to do right now when there is so much spell work, so much energy being put into tipping your scales one way or the other, in an unnatural way. Then it's important that we sort of do a daily MOT on ourselves of where are we divided within ourselves, and because even if you've trained your opposing sides, your positive and negative, divine feminine, divine masculine, to be in balance, then right now, that's when it's like, you've got to be like ninja style, you know, balanced. And so searching yourself to find that division, that imbalance, helps you come up with those clearer decisions with more authority. And so for those who are listening to this that resonate with that, then we see that it is this opening for you to lift yourself out of that conflict within and any conflict, division around you, to see what has been stolen, to revise. Did I fall into a trap there? Did I nearly slip into that big division pool? You know, taking back that clarity of thought, it's swords, it's air. And the promise is that you maintain your territory bodily, and also the opportunity to build differently, to find land, to work differently, to create that team around you, to create those that you align with, or to be around you and work and build things that are useful, that are symbiotic with the land. So that takes a level of, to get there, for those that resonate with this, a level of reflection, of being open to change, and of being able to transition into the new transitional period, but fully able to let go of that needs to be let go of. Powerful. So for the 30th, this is going to be fun, isn't it, with the dates? 30th. Eight of Wands. So you're going to find on the back of those people that I was speaking to in the latter part of the 29th, just there, you're going to find that when you've been feeling these frustrations and these divisions within self, that today is a day of relief, of just knowing that things that you have been manifesting and that you have been bringing into being has already happened in spirit. And with that Eight of Wands, you know, the message is coming to you. The Fool card. So we've got the Fool card. So that would speak to these 8 wands arrowing, like firing into this 0 point energy, this balance, and able to be aware of surroundings, yes, but be no fool, and be fully accepting and wanting of this adventure without being negative on it, without allowing those divisional tools to tell you this is how it's going to be, because that helps just make it be, and make it be more so. So being able to do that for yourself and recognize that it's already happened in spirit, and there are steps that you can take now from this balance point, from this 0 point, to get you to where you want to be, which would be that 10 of Pentacles there previously. There's something about the white rose. That he's holding. Something about that white rose. The Tower. And the Ace of Swords came out with that. Oh, but the Chariot. So for those that resonated with what I've just said about it already happening in spirit and feeling that confirmation and not doubting it, the Chariot would speak to, you've been finding that balance point, your yin, your yang, your divine feminine, divine masculine, finding the right engagements of the two to create that balance point so that your chariot can rush across the sky with this other 8 of Wands here and not split in two. And so you've been working on it already, and that brings it into this 0 point energy. Now the Tower card coming up after the Fool would speak of, it would speak of this being an extreme and immediate change when it comes into the physical. And that might jolt you back into that previous Five of Wands, into wanting to hang on to a little bit of what you know. Relations, the ways of doing business, the fear, the beliefs. And it's just about, you can't, you've raised your frequency enough to be able to have that full clarity. And although it might feel traumatic, it's a full cleansing of the house, and that means a full cleansing of the house to reveal the core of you, to be able to look at the symbology between these two, the Tower there and the Fool, the sword going straight up there. I mean, you can't, so it's traumatic, it's big, but you can't see it any clearer than that, that all of a sudden you find this purpose, this clarity, and it's powerful. And this chariot is moving, your spirit's moving across the sky to meet you in this physical space, in this mental space, and it's charging forward. We've got the stars on the canopy here, that as above, and the grounded beings here below, bringing what is already been manifested in spirit into being. Now, as far as the wider stage, this white rose, what is being manifested in spirit by many, and so this would be too many to actually pinpoint who is the Fool, which group of people are the Fool, that are connected to a white rose somehow, that somehow bring into being a level of destruction, and it's against the very beings that have been governing this conditioning and control and oppression and squeezing. And it feels like it's made out of absolute clarity to do this kind of thing. You know, I'm talking about somehow doing something very big in attacking somebody or somebody's very big, in a very big way, that are connected to, or are in fact the likes of Parliament, the likes of government, the likes of Senate. And they feel that they've got this absolute clarity and purpose to bring these 6 flames that are around this sword here into creating this destruction or doing this act. Wow. What does white rose mean? Hold on, I'll find out. Oh, where have you all gone? I have clicked something I shouldn't. Okay, white rose. One second, I just want to look this up to see. See why I'm seeing that white rose, because it's very, very strong. I'll probably not find the true thing that I'm looking for right now, because it feels very strong. Let's So 1 second, I'm just reading. I'll not take too much longer, I promise. I'm just... It says here that white roses symbolically go way back in time. The rose is about 35 million years old. The ancient Romans and Greeks mentioned white roses in their literature. Roses are associated with paradise, according to the Qurans. And also in the Middle Ages, roses were used in love and poetry. The white rose has many meanings when it comes to the language of flowers. Let's see. White roses are connected to focus in life. A cut white rose indicating a new phase in life. According to Scottish folklore, it is a symbol of happiness. So it's saying here, the white rose, for me, it's saying anyway, after reading all of that, it is saying here to me that it is to an attack on power. And who's to say that it's a bad end or a bad thing? Because it's like this tower moment comes and it's in the face. It's like now or never. And I can't say they're not thinking without clarity. I can't. It feels like there are ancient ones attacking ancient ones that have been here and in control for a very long time. And that happening in spirit, being brought about in the physical also, everything being representative of everything. So for the 31st, Page of Pentacles. That's really interesting, actually, that last one. 31st, Five of Staffs. So with this Page of Pentacles, I'm going to speed up because it got very deep. For this Page of Pentacles, it is about messages taking a very long time to receive. Some of you in your personal life might be having some conflicts. The Five of Wands comes out after that, some conflict with others regarding your children. Very back and forth energy, and the Justice card comes in, and so justice will be done in that case if you resonate with that. Now the Knight of Cups in reverse on the bottom of the deck would speak to a narcissistic energy, twisting emotions, using the child as an emotional pawn, whoever that was for and whoever needed to hear that. So with that being said, also on a wider setting, the Page of Pentacles, there's a very innocent and pure energy that creates a whole lot of conflict through a leaking of a message. And it brings about a certain level of justice, and it brings about a certain level of balance in this Five of Wands. With this Justice card coming up as a major arcana, finally a lot of people, more people than other days, are waking up to the fact that, you know, they've been put in this space of division and conflict and distraction, and this message has come through and somehow created this way of opening minds, and justice is done. Scales are balanced within. Now, on the other hand, there is this convoluted narcissistic energy and messages through, again, the innocence of children, or the innocence of the child within an adult, you know, that innocent type of adult, creates that conflict. But then there has to be this understanding for some of you with this 9, this justice card, of different possibilities, and you managing to maintain your balance and your sword of authority and truth, and bringing in that divine feminine righteousness within those balanced scales is going to be very powerful and very moving of whatever karma you're bringing in, whatever justice you're bringing into yourself. But there has to be a release from this conflict, particularly from narcissistic energies. Now, if the government isn't a narcissistic energy around the world right now, I don't know what is. So that counts for that also. Now, for the first. Projecting into the first. Wow, okay. So we have transformation, death. We've got the 10 of Swords. So a completion of a cycle. So there is this need, this energy, this drive to let go of a lot of things, of a lot of people, to be able to fully transition. And that's going to be hard, and it has been so hard and so difficult, and that's felt today with the 10 of Swords. But the 10 of Swords is about, you know, you've come to the realization that you're not going to take any more swords in the back because they don't fit. And so, like this card, you stand on top of those spears, those swords, and you become this righteous divine one within yourself. There's a clarity. But then there's still a doubt there with this 2 of Swords. So a real need to connect to the heart chakra and allow that to channel up to the thoughts, to the air, to be able to choose the path. And again, it's about choosing this path, and choose it with determination and strength, and, you know, be vehement about it, project yourself into the timeline. Now, with this Death card and the 10 of Swords, it does speak to going back to Christmas Day, that ritual that Boris did. There's a completion to this cycle. And so there's a death unto the connection, and therefore the animation and the type of being that you were, especially for the many who don't actually transition physically. There's a renewing. And there's a real need to connect in again with the heart chakra. If that reasoning, or if that decision on which path to go down is incomplete, is this one, this one, this one, this one, and not engaging of the heart chakra, then again, it's not a good place to be. It's not your best place to be. It's not where your greatness lies, as far as your greatness as it stands, as you would want it to stand. And it's a real powerful time right now. I mean, I can't stress it enough that this is such an epic moment in, you know, proving to yourself the way that you are mutable, the way that you are so powerful that you can project yourself into timelines, even other dimensions, that you can, that you have that resource and that power to do that in a far more superior and complete way than those, unfortunately, that are untethered now from each aspect of self that creates their animation as they've known it thus far. It's an intense, intense, intense time, for sure. For sure, for sure. It's an epic moment to be here. And for those that are really like myself, not that I've doubted it, but like myself, for those that are coming into even more realization that you came here for a reason at this time, then you know it's an extremely powerful time for you, because you're manifesting this resource, this plan for a different way of being, literally painting a different reality through a different frequency. And the attack on you is strong in that, you know, you have to stay balanced, you have to stay aware and discerning and be vigilant right now of you know, nobody is immune. It takes work, it takes daily MOTing. Now we've got the Four of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck for the second, and so this would speak to careful what you're clinging on to, careful what you're being miserly with. Are you being miserly with things in your physical reality? Because then that's reflecting on a mindset of lack. And although people will say, well, yes, we need to practice and things like that, well, that's not doing that. If you're doing it from a frequency of enjoying what you're doing, learning about nature again, and feeling a feeling of fulfillment as your hard work pays off, as you see the jars filling, the tins being sealed, brilliant. That's from a place of abundance. But if it's this way of being that you are worried and you're doing it from a worried place, then again you need to realign that and recognize the power within you to manifest through the way that you're being on all aspects of you, physical, spiritual, emotional, mental, you know, soulful, every aspect of you. So we've got the Five of Swords. Five, very apparent. There's a change happening. The 5 points, all to play for. You're at the halfway point between the 0 and the 10. And so you're really choosing your path, and you're choosing your path, a lot of you, against the Emperor that is up here in this 5 of Swords. You've got the 5 of Swords on the wall, and then this Emperor sitting on this tapestry. And so you're going against the structures. You're going against the structures. And for the second, this energy coming forward with this, it says lust here. What does that say? So this lust for the manifestation of the reality that you would want, being able to fully envelop yourself on this beast of divine masculine self and the naked rawness of the divine feminine riding on top of it. And so working like a wave together, the same way I see my daughter ride, she works like this. She goes into a wave with the horse. She is not separate to the horse. It's she goes in motion with the horse. They look like a wave when they're moving, when they're gliding along. The whole body language mimics the pace of that horse. Now here it's connecting to that divine feminine, divine masculine, and being able to feel that orgasmic feeling of that wave, of that symbiotic relationship, of that gliding, of that riding under the red sky. And wow, you can see there she's riding the horse, and you know, she's naked, and of course that divine feminine energy in the space of creativity against the strength of the divine masculines, shoulder bones, withers. Very, for those who are horsey now can see what I'm seeing. And imagine this as a spirit dance, as a energetic dance that is happening around you this whole time, infusing your auric field. That's the level that you're able to channel if you choose to channel it today, if you are able to. If you are able to withstand this sense of power and force, if you have been doing enough inner work and energy work to be able to build on your Kundalini energy and be able to channel that Kundalini energy, then that is the dance, that is the spiral, that is the rubbing up against and being in balance, you know, meeting in the middle each time. Wow. And then that brings about the Mother of Wands, this creative, divine, feminine energy with a big black cat there, you know, protecting her, and the snake being at her feet, bowing at her feet. Bowing at her feet. Literally wanting to suckle from the breast. That's what I'm hearing, of this divine feminine energy, this feline energy. It's being absolutely so captivating that even a snake is lulled into a hypnotism. The cat is lulled into a sleep and a purr. This is a huge force of divine feminine energy. Why? Because there are those of you that are strong enough to bring about your exploration of your divine feminine with that divine masculine, being the explorer, and being able to truly let go of the conflict, that war within self, particularly for the men today, this aspect of the reading anyway. It's very particular to women, but this aspect for the men is to say that you're being able to fully recognize and appreciate what your divine feminine truly is, what source of power it truly is. And, you know, a lot of you have not been able to explore divine power at a level that is possible within this physical space, and what that actually means to you and feels like. But so you haven't had this true representation in order to recognize it within yourself. Yet today, for you, being able to be at the level to let go of that inner conflict and be able to be open and allow the wave of the divine feminine to ride upon your divine masculine shoulders, this huge appreciation and almost satisfaction of being a man, because of this energy that you're picking up on. And hopefully for many of you, all of you, women and men, you know, that it's on both sides and also represented with another, so that you have this beautiful symbiotic dance within self, with your divinities, but you're also able to meet divine with divine, because I mean, that would be uber powerful. But again, it's about the letting go and being in flow, not being miserly, being in full abundance, full dance, full spirit dance, in order to bring about this beautiful and bountiful divine feminine energy. And it takes some creativity, and that's what this energy represents. It's creativity, it's flooding through, flowing through, and it might seem a bit chaotic within yourself, and you might see that reflected in your immediate reality. You will see that today reflected in your immediate reality, in that this type and level of divine feminine energy is the kind of thing, the exhilaration that you're doing something is so intense that even though you know it is so enjoyable and wonderful, that you get almost frightened of the intensity. And again, it's about this submission to this energy, the submission to allow this energy to take you to places unexplored, to build that energy, which again goes back to us having to work harder because we haven't got the numbers, to build that energy, infuse that energy within, and really creating and knowing the infinite space that we have. And it's about this mother coming back. It's about this nourisher coming back. Old divine feminine wisdom. Absolutely through and through. Now, as far as the Five of Swords, lust, and the Mother of Wands, as far as an add-on, as a warning, as a forewarning to the fact that the hidden mother, the hidden women of history, and it's all about the intent, right? And so that's not to say that this hidden structure of powerful, powerful women that don't get named, like the Rothschild women, but they've built a lot of the conflicting systems that we live under to this day. They were a lot of the brains and creativity and drive to the war machines, to the ideas of banks and what they've become. And these hidden women, these hidden feminine energies are working their seductive magic butts off today to seduce and hypnotize. And they've done this very well in the shadows and being in full connection, whether you agree with what their actions are or not, energetically and physically, full connection and in ritual with self and in dance with self, and of being the wizard behind the curtain. That has acted in a big way to come down the line into the way that, because what happens when a woman has her creativity and flow and she's bountiful, yet she knows, or she has to be able to be so bountiful, she has to stay unmentioned, unknown about. There's going to become a bit of a distorted attitude there, and that is being passed from top to bottom. And so, wow, when we thought a lot of the men created and maintained the men in power over time, created and maintained the level of disdain for the divine feminine, for the female. And actually, matter of fact, it's going to come about very, very soon. There's going to be this energy felt, so knowledge being known of these women fighting back and being raw and putting in that work. So it's very important that we put in the work in that, in this aspect today on the 2nd also, because they're very good at what they do with hypnotizing powerful leaders into submission. But they have a contempt for women in the physical reality. They have a contempt for that, because the more and more expressive a woman can be to a man, the more and more distorted and poisoned these hidden women that have built these structures have become. And so their attack will be on the divine feminine within all that they can reach. And it's important to recognize that, because you have it within yourself. If you're working with your divine feminine, your divine masculine, then you get to see it. You don't get hypnotized, because you're already hypnotized by your own balance, by your own inner dance. But it gives you something to reference point when you see it energetically in another aspect of life, in another aspect and layer of this reality, and the way that they're creating things to be. Damn. That is, wow. Who's looking up hidden women? I am. And so that is the reading for, I'm pretty tired out with that foraging and then reading just there. And it's been a busy few weeks for sure. And so, and then obviously being with family and you're up, but that foraging today has tired me out in a nice way, you know, and you feel like you've worked the body and you have managed to gain some gains. So I'm going to love you and leave you, and I hope that this hits home. I hope that this is heard by the right people, and that when it is, your intentions are backed by yourself, knowing that you are strong enough to do this, you were meant for this, and speaking greatness into your manifestations and decisions to let go. It is about holding that line, holding that frequential line right now. Wow, so much. And there is so much in it. It's so obvious yet so hidden. It's crazy. But yeah, just speaking to you all, speaking greatness on your path, in the manifestation of that path, and in the way that you find others that resonate with you, and vice versa. Check out on Facebook, The Divinity. Check out my Teespring or Spring store. And if you want to read in, you can book in with me at truedivinemedia@gmail.com. If you want to follow me, go on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, of course, BitChute, and you get posted up on BitChute, and Tumblr. I think there's some other places, but you know, you'll find that in the description box. Much love, balance, and wholeness. Mwah.